Shalom, everyone. My name is Samuel D. Spoonhour, and today I will be talking about why there has to be some kind of God or creator. Usually, when you come across some kind of atheist, that's one of the first questions that's going to come up when actually giving the gospel is, well, I don't think there is a God, or why is there a God? More or less, you need to actually understand why there has to be a God. I mean, there is a reason that I believe it and why certain creationists believe it, correct? So even just like a vehicle is proof of an engineer's hard work and time and thought and money, it's same with creation. Even just look at the design of a fly, a very, very simple thing when we think about it, but yet the amount of eyes that a fly has and the way they work in tandem, not only that, but their reaction time is amazing. They're constantly able to dodge our hands from hitting them and knocking them away, and yet we say that they came about by random chance and nothing, because that's what an atheist subverts to, is that nothing created absolutely everything. But nothing is no thing. By definition, no thing cannot create something. Something has to create something. And that's my second point, is that something had to have been behind everything. If you consider this, God is the first cause, in the sense that he's a timeless, infinite being in another dimension outside of our realm. That is why he himself is not in front of our face. His work is. But if we say that nothing created everything, it would still have to have a personality, because we see a uniqueness in the world. We also see consistency. Things work in order. Nothing can't do that. Something with intelligence would have had to have done that. Or something with infinite knowledge. Something that has the knowledge to create laws and knowledge and wisdom itself. Oh, right. That has to be God. No, I'd rather believe the universe created itself, which is actually what Stephen Hawking said. He actually said that. He said, I'd rather just believe that the universe created itself than believe that God created everything, because it just can't be God to them. Because they realize that if there is a God, then they have to stand before him one day for, in a moral sense, for the things that they've done on earth. And they want to run away from him as much as possible, just like a thief wants to run away from the policeman. And even so, further, my third point is that creation is called creation because it is an amazing design. Many evolutionists might say that, well, there isn't an intelligent design going on. But tell me this, why is it we haven't been able to replicate a human brain? Why is it whenever we create our own hearts, they have more issues than real hearts, and they last many times less? Why can't we create our own human beings? And even further so, why is it DNA is so complex? And why is it can only exist when it's all there? People don't realize this, but DNA cannot actually exist unless it's all there and unless a holding place has been created for it. Do you realize that? Because DNA would just implode without the proper holding place and correct fluids. It will just either destroy itself or become utterly useless. And even so, you need DNA to create DNA, which means that if everything was created all at once by a God say the chicken came before the egg, then that would make sense, right? With the evidence we have of DNA, but it just can't be God, right? Or can it? Maybe it can be. Do you actually believe in the scientific impossibility that nothing created everything? Because that's what atheists actually believe, that no thing created something. I don't have enough faith to be an atheist. And that's what Frank Turek said. He wrote a book on it, and it's so very true. I don't have enough faith to believe that nothing created something. I would rather believe that God, being outside of the universe itself, just created everything in his infinite knowledge. That seems a lot easier to me. Much simpler. And not only that, we have evidence to prove it and to back it up. I don't care what arguments still arise about his characteristics. His characteristics are not the issue. My worldview is not the issue here. It's whether there is or isn't a God, one that is the standard for truth and righteousness and goodness and understanding and knowledge and wisdom. That's who God actually is the one who not only sets the standard, but created it in all of its right. So you can't never tell me that there isn't a God. I might actually laugh at you because I don't think you realize that you're just not looking to what's in front of you. Even the Bible says the fool has said in his heart, there is no God. Because during biblical times, if you told someone, I don't believe that there is a God, they would laugh you to scorn. They would think you're nuts. And they actually did to people who actually said that. That's why so many people created their own version of God, because they realized that there has to be a first cause. But that's also why Jehovah God, the great I am, the one true God, laughed at the other gods, essentially saying they're just stone. They can't think, feel, speak, hear, smell. They can't do any of those things. And yet, I can not only do all those things, but everything beyond. That's who God is. I have a wonderful verse from Psalms 139, actually verses from Psalms 139, 14 through 16. I will praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. It's true. We have a wonderful design. Even just the way that our hands works. Look at that. I can just do it on command. And yet, animals, they do these things on instincts. And yet, we would still say that they have an amazing way of moving. It's outstanding. And yet, we have full control and free will. I don't know about you, but no thing cannot do that. I'm certain it would have to be a God that cares enough to give me free will, right? Doesn't that make sense? Your works are marvelous, and my soul knows it very well. My bones were not hidden from you when I was made in secret and skillfully formed in the lowest parts of the earth. Your eyes saw my embryo, and in your book all my members were written. The days they were formed, and not one was among them. I was created, my God planned, even before the days existed. He actually planned to create me before the days themselves actually existed. Think about that for a second. Doesn't that tell you a little bit about his characteristic? Because truthfully, if you're going to build a building, wouldn't you start planning months or maybe even years ahead? It's true, you would. Before those days even came, you would start planning. And yet that's exactly what God has done with us. He thought about creating us many, many years before. But this is the atheist dilemma. Romans 1, 19 through 20 is a very, very good example of it. Because the thing which may be known of God is clearly revealed within them, for God revealed it to them. For the unseen things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being realized by the things that are made, even his eternal power and Godhead, for them to be without excuse. It's so very true. Atheists can't actually be atheists because they themselves are proof of a God that loves them enough to give them the free will to think that there isn't a God. And that is why there has to be a God. So God bless you. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. God gets all the glory for my knowledge, my wisdom. I do not deserve it. Trust me on that one. So again, God bless you. Enjoy your day. Thank you so much for watching this.